An Ivy League education is indeed a great step forward. As I've always mentioned, education starts from birth and continues until grave. In the process of education, you go through many different streams. I believe that there is disruption that is taking place in every phase of our life, and education is definitely going to witness some of the biggest disruptions that you've seen in human mankind. A lot of the education that we generally go through in a formal education pattern of system is based on analysis of past. We try to see what has happened in the past and try to make judgment as to how, when similar situation arises in the future, how a person is expected to react. For example, you may learn about the various diseases which may happen to a human being, and if such diseases are encountered once again, then how would the person react? How should a doctor treat such a patient? Similarly, in the field of law, based on past case studies, legal judgments, you are expected to bring those legal judgments into play when a similar situation arises in the future. In the field of business and finance, similar situation. You're supposed to know about what's happened in the past when Fed last raised interest rates, what had happened to the financial markets, what had happened to the world economy, how emerging markets reacted, and then you are supposed to assume that similar situation will happen when Fed raises interest rates once again in the current rate cycle. One very good sphere of education is the Ivy League education, collectively known as the Ivy League. There are 8 top universities in America: Harvard, Dartmouth, Brown, University of Pennsylvania, Columbia, Princeton, Yale, considered to be the elixir of education. You get to learn from people who are at the forefront in their respective academic excellence, in research capabilities, and it also gives you great social elitism to be a part of a group whose alumni go to spearhead many of the corporations across the world. Great places to study, tremendously forward looking in their methods of imparting education, and is definitely a step in the right direction. I can vouch for it, having been to Wharton Business School of the University of Pennsylvania, a top business school, and an Ivy League. Definitely vouch for tremendous education which helps a person going forward. At the same time, one has to realize that the foundation, though is laid down in an Ivy League institution, you still have to go forward, utilize that foundation to be forward looking in your approach. If you have found that there are certain diseases which have arisen in a certain environment, what new can arise is something that you have to learn. The foundation stones are laid down by the Ivy League institutes, yet you have to educate yourself constantly across the continents, across the time horizons, and be in constant touch with new methods. And this is all that global education, I think, is going to be all about. Looking into the future, looking at new things. There is going to be disruption definitely in the field of education. Those people who believe that they have educated themselves and that's the end of the world are not going to survive. Just look at the software industry. Based on a cost competitiveness advantage model, the industry did very well in many parts of the world, like India, for decades together. And now it has got to find new frontiers with the advent of more automation, with the advent of digital technology. It has to move in different directions. So it is struggling to grow as fast as it was in the past. This can happen only if it can find new methods of evolving itself. And this can happen only if the patterns of education are changing. If while you are in software engineering school, you realize that these are not the only programming languages, that there are different methods, that the world is going to need different things by the time you enter the workforce, you would be prepared for new methods. You would not be just sticking to the old ways of doing things. And this is why you find many people lose their jobs, whichever field you may be in, whether it's finance, whether it's software engineering, in any field you lose, or even in marketing. I mean, there's a big shift towards digital marketing these days. So the field of education is dramatically changing. Ivy League is tremendous education, definitely vouch for it, and if one can, definitely attend a good institute. Yet these are only foundation stones. You have to constantly evolve yourself. Education is entering an era of great disruption, and I would like you to be a part of it and try to understand and learn with me what are the new changes that are about to take place, and how you can be a part of this change process, and how you can also involve yourself in the disruption, so that you have all the capabilities you need to be at the forefront of your career, business, or profession, whichever may be the case. So look forward to welcoming you in understanding and being a part of this great disruption process of education. Take care. Bye bye.